We're supposed to be doing things. Pay attention, people. Pay attention. Arielle Scarcella. We haven't talked about her in a little while. She is an awful human being who has decided to come back from the deep end, from the land where no souls return. She has come back with vengeance. All right, she's here with a new bopper, and she's here to make everyone's lives worse. So what am I talking about? She dropped a video. It's called "Anti-Racist is Code for Anti-White." Yes, it's literally that saying. Honestly, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised within the next like year or two she drops a video called it's just the 14 words. She titles the video, and the only title is just the 14 words. She just goes full Nazi mode. I wouldn't doubt it, because she's sitting there right on the cusp. Let's hop into it.
The trouble with saying it's okay to be white, of course, there's a article on.
Oh my gosh, this is extremely loud for me. I'm sorry. I gotta wait. For one, gotta turn this down. Two, why is this in 270p?
The trouble with saying it's okay to be white, of course, there's a article on this.
Wait, what? There's an article on it? Oh no, people wrote an article about things. Who could have seen this coming? People write about stuff. Has Arielle Scarcella ever heard of the concept of a book?
White nationalism or neo-Nazism isn't the same as saying it's okay to be white.
Everyone knows these days that it is not enough to simply be not.
Oh, thank you, Gothics. I really appreciate you. I mean, just by the plain definition of the words, no. But I think we all know about a euphemism. I think we all know that there can be subtext to some things that you're saying. Okay. Have these people ever been to like 3rd grade English class? When you say, I'm hungry enough to eat a horse, you can't literally eat an entire horse. Maybe that just may be me.
Not racist. You have to actively be anti-racist. I didn't know what the that meant, so I had to look it up.
Wait, what? You don't know what? Am I being clowned on here? Is this a joke? Is this a meme? Is this entire video? Because some people are like, Shark, you got to cover this, but I'm not sure if this is a joke anymore. Honestly, you don't know what being anti-racist means? What? You mean like actively fight against race? I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm the dumb one here, but being anti, me personally, I'm just not agnostic on child trafficking. Me personally, I'm anti child trafficking. Okay, personally, I don't just go whatever child trafficking. I like actively try to fight against it. That's me. If you don't know what that means, then I highly doubt that you've been living a very good life, honestly. Being against the racism is too confusing of a concept. Wait, now I gotta fight racism? What? Okay, I don't know. Would you be okay if it was just like passively sitting there hurting people, and then you just kind of like crack open the lawn chair and sip down a beer on your porch? I mean, I don't know.
Also, you might notice that there's no ads on this video because YouTube demonetized me yet again because they hate me. Actually,
that's not true anymore. I'm not sure if you guys knew this, but recently YouTube started to this is actually a good thumbnail too. This is a really good thumbnail. I should nab up this one. I'll go back. I'll remember that. YouTube, they started to, now you get demonetized, as in you don't get any ad revenue. Like they're saying this video it cannot be monetized. No ads can play on it. That's what demonetized usually means. But now, instead of that, what they're doing is they're playing ads on videos that aren't monetized to you. So they just monetize them anyways, and then tell you that you can't get any money from it. It's a really funny meme. So there may be ads in this video. I don't know. There's no reason why I would know. But I don't know. That may not even be true anymore.
So if you want to go and support me and see other content that has never been posted on this YouTube channel or anywhere else, go to my locals page, arielle.locals.com. Anti-racism. Go check that out after you watch this.
.locals. Oh my gosh, that sounds like a website that you go to after clicking on like a Pornhub ad. You know what I'm saying? Oh no, political content demonetized on YouTube. Who could have seen this coming?
Anti-white. Second thing that comes up into it. First two things that come up are go check that out after you watch this video. Let's get right into it. First two things that come up are anti-racism is a code word for anti-white. Second thing that comes up in a Google search is how to be anti-racist. You know what? We're gonna look at both of those because I have no clue what I'm doing with this. Comes up in a Google search is how to.
Well, one's from the ADL, and then the other one is from aspendes.org. Okay. Well, I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm just gonna click around and see what happens. Let's learn, guys. You click on porn ads. Obviously, what are you talking about? They have sick games. It said it was gonna make me come in less than a minute. I mean, come on. I mean, are they gonna lie? That'd be false advertising.
To be anti-racist. You know what? We're gonna look at both of those because I have no clue what I'm doing with this video. But I do think it's interesting that already you can see the juxtaposition here of the two different sides of this argument. So this is the Smithsonian.
Wait, was that wasn't two sides of the argument, was it? Both of those were anti that phrase. She clicked on the ADL link, right? She thinks that she's gonna click on the ADL and be like, oh yeah, guys, we love racism.
Smithsonian, by the way. So for those of you who don't know, it is a reliable source. I think it's a not-for-profit, government-owned series of museums and such across the country. They are the ones that wrote this article or posted this article. Being anti-racist. To create an equal society, we must commit to making unbiased choices and being anti-racist in all aspects of our lives. Okay, they still didn't say what it was, but let's see if they say here. Race does not biologically exist. So how can you be racist? Okay, I'm sure they're gonna tell us. Yet.
Wait, what? Race doesn't biologically exist means you can't. So she thinks that race has to biologically exist for you to be racist. We can't like wait, what? What? I'm just. Wait. You do know like not nationality doesn't biologically exist, but you can be xenophobic. You know that like religion, you aren't born with a religion gene, all right? You don't have like, there isn't the secret 24th chromosome and it's the like symbol of your religion sitting there. That's no, but you could be prejudiced against those people, even if I'm okay.
How we identify with race is so powerful, it influences our experiences, shapes our lives. In a society that privileges white people and whiteness, racist ideas are considered normal throughout media, culture, social systems, and institutions. Historically, racist views justified the unfair treatment of oppression of people of color. Yes, absolutely, in the past. I also looked this up on a number of different.
Wait, what?
Views justified the unfair treatment of oppression of people of color. Yes, absolutely, in the past.
Absolutely in the past. Guys, there's never been, in the future, there's never been a person of color who's been harmed by the American systems. As soon as the clock struck 1964, okay? As soon as the clock struck that, then racism abolished, gone, does not exist anymore, guys. Sorry about that. The whole like anti-racism thing, that's a thing of the past, all right? You're the real conservative trying to hold on to tradition of being anti-racist. We've evolved. You're not telling me there's an Islam gene that makes them Muslim? I regret to inform you, there is no Islam gene. I'm so sorry.
Also looked this up on a number of different sites. Here is what I found. Being anti-racist is fighting against racism. Racism takes several forms of works, most often in tandem with at least one other form to reinforce racist ideas.
Wait, is this the ADL? I don't even know what she said. Let's click on both of them, right? And one, oh my gosh, I see it. I see this like real time. Did she not show the ADL link because it was going to make her look bad? Or is this the ADL link? Because they completely contradicted what she said, so she's not going to go over it. She clicked on it and was like, ooh, yeah, this one doesn't work. So she cut that entire thing out of the video.
Behaviors and policies. Types of racism are, we about to be educated. Okay, ready? Individual racism refers to the beliefs, attitudes, and actions of individuals that support or perpetuate racism. The U.S. cultural narrative about racism typically focuses on individual racism and fails to recognize systemic racism. Okay, so individual racism basically is like what most people think of when they hear the term racist. Like anyone can be racist. That's what most of us think, right? Interpersonal racism. Oh God, there's like 10 different types of racism. Maybe we can check all the...
Wait, oh my goodness, you could be racist in so many ways. Who could have even seen this coming? Look, what? Hey guys, new racism just dropped. That's not how, okay. That's not how that works. All they're doing is explaining how in different ways you can be racist, but okay. Yeah, she just completely skipped over that ADL link. Look, it's right here. This is the thing that she was supposed to click on. And she clicked on this and read it. Anti-racist is code for anti-white is a racist slogan that became popular among white supremacists in the mid 2000s. And so she's like, zoop, my bad. Actually, we can't. Oh, guys, that's crazy. I lost the link. We actually can't read that one.
Boxes and be all the different types of racism. Interpersonal racism occurs between individuals. These are public expressions of racism, often involving slurs, biases, hateful words, or actions. Okay, I guess we could say that someone who is an individual racist might express themselves in a nasty way, and that's what interpersonal racism is. Interpersonal racism is kind of like a verb. Institutional racism. These are discriminatory treatments, unfair policies, or biased practices based on race that result in inequitable outcomes for whites over people of color, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so the first two types of racism can be attributed to a person of any race, but the third type of racism can only affect people of color, right? Like, am I understanding that right so far? Just to make sure.
What? Well, I mean, can only affect people of color. So what I'm guessing is that what she's trying to say is that you can only people of color can be can have racism be can only be discriminated against can only be discriminated against for their race by institutions. I don't think that's true. Maybe in America, but I mean, maybe there will be some courts or whatever that are racist against white people or something. Maybe somewhere in America, we have 300 million people. You put together a jury. I mean, maybe it's not like literally impossible. But it can only affect people who are not in power. Like the demographic of people who are generally not in power, ones that are marginalized, it can only affect them. So, I mean, in this case, probably not. In this case, probably it would. In practice, it would only affect white people. It would not affect white people.
Following along. Structural racism is the overarching system of racial bias across institutions in society. These systems give privileges to white people, resulting in disadvantages to people of color. Example, stereotypes of people as criminals in mainstream movies or media. Okay, so if people of color are being portrayed as bad guys in movies, and that's considered structural racism, does that mean it's structural homophobia when we see the constant, like, gay boy best friend in every movie? Like, and he's super feminine and everything.
Well, I mean, to depict all gay people as super effeminate, then yeah, that is structural homophobia, I guess. Yeah, and it's not like whenever they're the bad guy. When they're portrayed as like criminals a lot of the time, where like if you have a movie company, right, and every time they need a robber, they always pick a black person. I would say that's an instance of structural racism. How is it not homophobic? I don't know. I don't get it. Yeah, if you're homophobic in this context, if you're homophobic in media, then you'd be, yeah. Always saying that gay people have to be like super effeminate, doing that like gay lisp thing. Yeah, I mean, that is homophobic, dude. It just kind of is. Does this make sense to you or something?
All jokes aside, though, this has come from a government-funded website, and it's made its way into the educational system. It's getting a lot of praise and a lot of pushback.
I recently found an article written by
a lot of praise and a lot of everything just seemed perfect. Everything just seemed kind of correct to me. Rebuttal fail. Rip. Everything just seemed kind of correct to me. Who's pushing back on this besides you people? She looks like an elf. Is it just me? Maybe it's just like the way her ears are. She's giving me like real big elf vibes. I don't know why. She do? Thank you. At least someone sees it. I looked at her and I was like, dude, elf? This elf cosplay is going real deep.
Teacher who expressed the importance of critiquing the anti-racism ideology. He goes on to explain that while he originally supported Black Lives Matter, he's since become skeptical and no longer supports the movement. Anti-racism ideology. Black Lives Matter.
Let me read this. Like many teachers outraged and supportive of Black Lives Matter movement following the death of Trayvon Martin, this was way back. What is this, in like 2015? What, 2013, 2015? This was way back in the day. I subscribed to teaching tolerance. I watched the documentary 13th many times, skimmed Ibram Kendi's digestible paper packs and listen to Nicole Hannah Jones explain the 1619 Project. Lots of people say the 1619 Project is really good, but it has some it takes some like historical liberties. Well, it takes some like narrative liberties about some instances to make it kind of like flow more cohesively. So it's been like criticized for that, but on the most part, I think if I remember correctly, the 1619 Project is pretty well researched. I no longer support this movement, and I am uncomfortable being a part of a viewpoint minority within secondary education. What is this supposed? What does it have to do with anything? My outrage has cooled into skepticism. Why did he even explain? Wait, since the murder of George Floyd, however, my outrage has cooled into skepticism. I no longer support this movement, and I'm uncomfortable with being the viewpoint minority. What is he, like a conservative or something? I mean, okay, sorry, bud.
He's since become skeptical and no longer supports the movement. Anti-racism ideology is built on a specific premise. Racial disparities are the result of a white supremacist society. He goes on to write that his discomfort stemmed from observing the insidious authoritarian pressure in many education systems to make sure they are not deemed racist. In some of the workshops he's attended, the ideas ranged from creating more diversity committees to paying employees of color more money for the invisible work that they do. And by the way, I'm just quoting what he wrote. He goes on to
wait. For one, yes, in this context, whiteness and white supremacy would have to come from a white supremacist system. Yeah, I mean, I'm confused. Is this supposed to be controversial? I don't know. What is this? What does it mean? It's weird how they just say facts and things that make sense, but in the tone that's like, really? I mean, yeah, really? What am I supposed to say?
State that the new trendy definition of racism, prejudice plus power, aggressively calls for revolutionary dismantling of institutional structures.
I mean, I could get this. I mean, maybe with some people, I don't know. Maybe if you're on Tanky Twitter a lot, I feel like not too many people. Now there are instances where there are some. I don't want to call them extremists. Some like activists have been like, oh yeah, we need to. If he's talking about like the police department where people are pushing for defund the police, I'm not sure. It needs to be the police system needs to be rebuilt, right? And lots of people, even when they say like abolish the police, they're talking about like the institution of the police and they still want law enforcement, just not in the form of that we think of the police. I think it's really bad messaging. Unless you'd like, I think it's really bad messaging. But you know, it just kind of be that way. No, me personally, I'm personally for restructuring police departments and re-envisioning them in a way that's focused around community policing. I think most people take that worldview more than anything else. Every single movement is going to have its fringe cases, but I don't think with BLM movement. And the anti-racist movement, apparently, that's like the movement now. The anti-racist movement, I think most of them hold that worldview.
Quoting what he wrote. He goes on to state that the new trendy definition of racism, prejudice plus power, aggressively calls.
Oh yeah. Also, I want to say that the idea of a lot of these sort of like office workshops, I think honestly, lots of these people who talk about these issues, who go to workshops or whatever, who go to like corporate boards to teach all the white people about like their racism or whatever, I think lots of them are extremely unhelpful. Lots of them are a little bit demeaning. What's the right word for it? I think just demeaning words. They're a bit demeaning to lots of the white people, and I feel like lots of the time they're not even that helpful. They're not all too intersectional either. So I mean, I guess I can agree with that point, but I'm not sure if that has anything to do with the BLM movement. That's been going on for a while, a long time, before this has happened. Honestly, I think all of that started closer in the 90s, where a lot of these corporate boards and like earlier 2000s, like 2005 and 6. Where we started to see where this stuff started to ramp up a lot more. But okay.
Calls for revolutionary dismantling of institutional structures. What this new wave of anti-racism is teaching people is that if you're not actively fighting racism, you're condoning it. He makes a great point when he says,
well, yeah, I mean, kind of. Well, what would not be actively fighting racism then? What, you see someone, what is their ideal world? What, someone's being racist and then you just sit there and you allow them to be racist, but you're like, huh, at least I wasn't the one doing it. You just let racism happen. You're just ambivalent to it. What do you want? What is supposed to be, what's the bad part of anti-racism? Being against racism, actively fighting against it. Like I said, I'm actively against assault. I'm actively against I'm anti-murder. I'm anti-assault. I'm anti-kidnapping. I'm anti Tanky's posting on Twitter. I'm anti all of this. Okay, I'm anti Tucker Carlson. I'm shadowboxing in my room, okay? I have a printed out picture of Tucker Carlson on it, and I'm standing on the other side of my garage, and I'm holding throwing stars, and I'm blindfolded, and I throw each one behind my back, all right? And I just do it with the complete vibrations of the room, and I hit all three of them, all right? All three of them. I'm waiting for it, all right? I'm fighting to I'm fighting to be in the dome, okay, with Tucker Carlson. I know he has a special move or something, so I'm preparing for that one. He's got like an ultimate. Anti-murder, what an extremist. Yeah, I'm a really big anti-murder extremist.
Says that this is causing students to not speak out against ideas they disagree with in fear of being labeled a racist. The same goes for people who speak out against the new gender laws, like myself, being labeled transphobic, which is...
Well, are you transphobic? I don't know. We can, I'd love to have a conversation sometimes with some of these people and be like, all I'm doing is asking questions and everyone's calling me this or that phobic. Well, I mean, some of the things that you've said, it seems like you're a little transphobic. It'd be like, I mean, sure, you may not have been transphobic for this specific thing, but more likely than not, you are transphobic in some way in there for you to get here to say this thing. This may not have been inherently transphobic, inherently racist or homophobic, or this may not have meant it here. But if we like walk that back a little bit, I think more likely than not, we're those sorts of people who get all like up in arms about it. I think most of the time those people are pretty phobic of that demographic group.
It's a huge idea because all ideas should be critiqued and questioned, right? Nobody is above that. We've gotten to a point in society where if it is a black person or a trans person or a black trans disabled queer non-binary has one foot, we can't critique these people anymore. Anybody who is considered oppressed, we have to believe their narrative. Another quote from this awesome article. Well,
see, I think there's like a tiny grain of truth in that, where like lots of people will hide behind the guard of, oh, I'm this, I'm that, like use their liberal identity politics. We don't like that sort of identity politics where you have to listen to this person who's of this certain race or like ethnicity or sexual minority because they are, and so we should just listen. Me personally, I've never subscribed to that. I thought that was really cringe. Yeah, it's happened before. You've seen it a lot before. I mean, even today when Mel talked to Vosh, she literally did the "How can I be anti-Korean? I'm Korean" meme. I don't know how many times I've had to debunk that in Black conservative videos that we've covered, but it just keeps on going. It's people love to pull that out whenever it's useful for them every single time, and I think they will abuse it. But don't worry, conservatives do the exact same thing.
Well-intentioned educators lack understanding in this ideology's origins. Anti-racism ideology is stemming from a kind of revised postmodernist philosophy, and from that, critical race theory. Postmodernists argue that there's no such thing as objective truth. Truth is merely a narrative held by the groups who hold the power in society. While postmodernism is a great literary lens in which to discuss different historical narratives, I am hoping that educators can see that this also brings with it dangerous consequences.
Was this written by Jordan Peterson? I'm starting to... Oh no. Wait, was this written by Jordan Peterson? I don't know. Wait a second. Can you imagine if she's like, look at this one conservative look at this one professor who got fed up with the anti-racism in his college, and then she just pulls up fucking 12 Rules for Life. Just pulls up like a Jordan Peterson talking on a Joe Rogan. Like, okay, sure, I guess. Anti-racist ideology stems from postmodernist philosophy. See, I'm not even sure if that's true. And also, do we have some like philosophy dweebs in chat? Does anybody know if that's even like the correct definition of postmodernism? Because I'm actually, wait a second. Only missing the cultural Marxists. Yeah, that's true. And a reference to lobsters. If the lobsters can do it, let's talk about that lobster hierarchy for a second, okay? See, I've never heard. I almost never hear people talk about postmodernism who isn't a conservative. You know what I'm saying? I never hear people bring this up like ever. But okay. I mean, truth is. I mean, I guess truth is like subjective, as in like we all have different experiences, and we can't really appeal to. And our perceptions are different, so we can't really appeal to one defined thing or something.
And this is the most important sentence here. By objecting a truth, we are now going to deny the scientific method. My favorite part of this article is when he talks about how, you know, everybody in his teaching staff is so proud of being anti-racist, yet they make these new rules for young black men and women who are constantly late to class because, you know, the stereotype is that black people can't be on time. How did we get here?
What was that the only reason they did it? I don't know. I feel like they're reaching there a little bit. I think it can be true that like liberals, I think what was that study that like liberals use simpler words around black people and like conservatives don't? What school? Yeah, what school is this? Like what school is this? Oh, you know, them black men's come bumping in a lowrider directly into class. They just blast through the wall. They just blow their lowrider through the wall while bumping Kendrick Lamar, and they just like drive over their seat and then just sit there with the hydraulics just bouncing, and then the white teacher just like, this is great. Hello, how are you? Welcome to class. You know, and then the poor white kid in like the corner, right, has his like hat on still in class, and then he gets written up. Truly, the end of days. Truly the end of days. But no, this is. I mean, there could be like an ounce of truth to that, I guess, but I don't think most people are giving these like all of these special rules for the black men or something.
Everybody in his teaching staff is so proud of being anti-racist, yet they make these new rules for young black men and women who are constantly late to class because, you know, the stereotype is that black people can't be on time. How did we get here? You know, I would say the same for the hashtag it's okay to be straight.
She doesn't even know if that was coming from the teachers. I think that guy just made all of that up. He's like, oh yeah, they definitely did it because of the stereotype. Did you ask them? What, they were sitting there and they're like, oh yeah, they can never be on time, so that's why I let them be late, because it's just like biological, they just can't. I don't think they said that. I think he put that in there.
I constantly see how many people are identifying as non-binary and queer and all these other genders when they are not same-sex attracted or experiencing.
What? All these people, they're calling themselves queer and they don't, and all of these other genders like gay,
as non-binary and queer and all these other genders when they are not same-sex attracted or experiencing gender dysphoria. Most of them are just dressing differently, want to express themselves differently, or in between the idea of masculine and feminine in the grand scheme.
And you know what? That's okay. Who's hurt by this? Who's hurt? If someone is like in between like masculine and feminine and they don't feel comfortable being called like a woman or whatever, so they go by they them, they go by non-binary, who are you hurting? What's wrong? Or are you just really mad that you can't call these people lesbians anymore? And that's the real thing. She's still salty that some people don't want to identify as lesbians, and she's just man. Did she run out? What's the real reason why she's missing why she's so sad about all these lesbians? What's the real reason? You know, is it because she just ran out of lesbians in her area to film like weirdo clickbait horny bait YouTube videos with? Is that it? Lesbian, don't you like that word?
Is it okay to be straight? Yeah, obviously. Is it okay to be white? Yeah, obviously. Hello. These are all things that we cannot control and do not make us better or less of a person. But let's see what the far left has to say about this, shall we? The trouble with saying it's okay to be white. Of course, there's a fucking article on this. Okay, so a bunch of
damn, people wrote articles about things. Have you even seen this coming? They wrote an article on it. Wow. I'm sorry, Arielle, okay? Not everyone gets out all of their important information in tweet form.
Posters apparently were printed out and put on university campuses. He said the posters were a protest of racial discriminatory ideology taught at the university. He said many professors explicitly teach in their courses that it is not okay.
I'm gonna need a source. I'm gonna need a source on that. Okay, see, me personally, I've went to college. I did US US culture. I took like US culture in college by a black Irish woman, if I remember correctly. And she was like big into the Pan-African thing. She never taught anything about how it's not okay to be white. actually, like at all. She even like had us. She even like called us on class and talked about the different. It asked us if we know where our cultural background comes from, like our ethnic background comes from. We like she'd write it on the board, and all the white kids who were like, I'm British and Welsh. She'd be like, ooh, cool, Wales.
To be white. It's okay to be white appears to be a literal or denotive message, but when we read it in context against the backdrop of institutional Eurocentrism and current anti-racist political movements like Black Lives Matter, we can see that it is far from benign.
This is probably why there's been an uprise in things like hashtag it's okay to be white. Or can we just simply admit that it's freedom of speech and also freedom of interpretation?
Ooh, what do you interpret? What are you interpreting? Like race and IQ? Is that what you're interpreting? Anti the JQ? Is that what are you interpreting? That's what I ask. It's up to interpretation. Whether these people deserve to be in our country, you know, it's up to interpretation if we should have a concentration camps. You know what's up for interpretation? I'd like one example, please, just one. No, I mean those things like this saying came out specifically with the backdrop of Black Lives Matter. Same with All Lives Matter. The only reason they are there. See, the thing is, the Black Lives Matter movement comes out of things happening in the world, right? Actual conditions that people are in. These ones are just a reflection of that. Their anger that those things are around, or they feel excluded, or they don't like the fact that other people are fighting for their own rights, or whatever. I'm not sure, and I honestly don't care what's going through their head too much. But these sayings actually came out to counter them, right? To distract, to conflate. That's the whole reason, right? The implication when you're holding a sign that says Black Lives Matter, right? And then you hold up a sign that says All Lives Matter. Well, you're either minimizing people, calling out this race in particular for the special treatment that they get. You know, we'll use special in air quotes there, special treatment that they get. Or you're saying that when they hold up that sign, that means other races don't matter. It's just a complete conflation, and it makes it bogs down discussion, and it's actively there to waste people's time. It's weird and it's dumb. It's bad.
If you choose to interpret a simple statement such as all lives matter as a jab at black people, that's on you. But I don't think it's healthy to automatically assume simple statements are malintentioned unless you want to constantly view yourself as a victim.
I don't know. I just really think when someone says Black Lives Matter and someone responds All Lives Matter, I think it's pretty okay to be like, oh yeah, this person's not here in good faith. To think those things. I think that person actively knows what they're doing, and you shouldn't be concerned with them. Yeah, that's just me personally. This is just gaslighting. When I'm being shitty, you're telling me that's wrong. Well, if you feel that way, that's on you. No, actually, it's on you.
This should go without saying, but white nationalism or neo-Nazism isn't the same as saying it's okay to be white.
Well, literally no. Literally no. But when you're diminishing the experiences of like black Americans, when they talk about being when they or their family members talk about being hunted and killed and discriminated against, and you call that out, I think that is you being racist. Sorry.
Furthermore, I can't change the fact that I was born with this skin color, so it doesn't make me special in that regard. That said, if you find your skin color special enough to celebrate it, that's fine. You do you. But remember to keep that same energy, meaning if you're proud of your blackness, other people should be allowed to celebrate their color as well, including white people.
Oh my gosh. Hey, listen, I got you. All right, listen to this, everyone. We do celebrate white people already. Have you heard of this? St. Patrick's Day. Okay, man, that's crazy. Have you ever? Wild. All right. The thing is, we do have things where people can have pride where they're from. All right. It's just not being white. It's you're Italian. All right. You're British. You're Polish. Your family's from Belarus. You're Irish. You're Scottish. Right. You're French. You're German. You're Finnish. You know, that's what they call back to. Black people in this country don't, because we didn't when people were bringing over slaves, they didn't necessarily keep important. They didn't keep like birth certificates, and they didn't write down like the bloodlines and everything. So all of that is lost. It's just gone. Complete separation. So like black culture here had to be had to be remade. Ethnic group here had to be remade. The possibility of you being able to go back and find what like area in the most culturally dense place in the entire world, Africa, is almost completely impossible if there aren't like direct lines. So that's why they have to be like, oh yeah, proud of being black. Also, they were told not to be proud of being black. Who they are, what they do, their culture, their skin tone, their hair. All right, their hair. Like one of the big reasons why lots of black women straighten their hair is because is like black hair wasn't always and still not necessarily is seen as like default hair or like the pinnacle of beauty that like straight hair is. So which we may be seeing right now. And don't worry, she'll definitely be like, my conservative brain, I am completely fortified. I have the walls of Jericho around my cerebellum, and I will not be influenced by any of your cultural memes, lefty communists. No, that's not true. We all live in a society, and it all affects all of us.
If we compare it to people saying that I'm proud to be gay, I don't think that's actually comparable. Obviously, we are saying we are proud to be gay, but what we actually mean when we say that, we are proud to be ourselves and living our truth openly. We are not proud of the simple fact that we exist and—
Wait, how do you know that's not what other people are saying? She just makes this up. She's like, no, okay, listen, when them like Browns say it, it's bad, but when me and my gay friends say it, that's cool. It's cool and base, and when you do it, it's sad and cringe. Like, okay, all right. You just imagine that's what they believe.
When we say that, we are proud to be ourselves and living our truth openly. We are not proud of the simple fact that we exist and did not choose this. People don't need to come out as black or white in the same way you need to come out as LGBT.
Wait, is she saying that? Wait. I see it. She thinks that by being a lesbian makes her more discriminated against than racial minorities. She's like, that's where this is coming from. Oh, that's why she feels so indignant, because she feels like she's punching up. She thinks that this group of people, you may have been like discriminated against in the past, but that's not happening now, except for us. She thinks that she's like the masses in the squalor, all right, wading through the trash of the Black Lives Matter movement as lesbians are really on the back foot. Lesbians are being bred out of extinction. They're like the dinosaurs, okay? They're just waiting. Hello? Oh my gosh. They're just waiting for the non-binary and trans bomb, the meteor, to strike their earth and completely cascade them in like a sea of darkness for the end of time. But yeah, like it's just that's wild to me. She thinks she's more oppressed. Wow.
We're proud to be gay, but what we actually mean when we say that, we are proud to be ourselves and living our truth openly. We are not proud of the simple fact that we exist and did not choose this. People don't need to come out as black or white in the same way you need to come out as LGBT.
Hey guys, I have something to say to you, okay? I've been sitting on this for a little while. I'm black. Now I know lots of you guys may be surprised. I'm sorry. I know I'm just dropping this on you right now. But yes, I am black. What are you talking about? Come out as black and come out as white. You come out as black when you step out of your house. What do you mean? Come out as black? What the fuck are you talking about? People just look at you. Okay. You're black? Dude, I didn't believe you didn't tell us sooner. Yeah, it's crazy. We made it through, 253 episodes without me talking about that I'm black. I'm sorry about this, guys. Let's just drop this on you now. I'm colorblind? Me too.
Well, at least some people. Some people are obvious. Consumer culture helps build rebels. Identity is a big part of branding campaigns, diffusing politics of new social movements into commercial demands for representation, inclusion, diversity, and tolerance. Obviously, like we know that already. Consumerism also preaches an ethnic of non-conformity. Nonconformists are never satisfied with the status quo, continually seeking new ways to subvert it. Here's the best part. Therefore, to be a rebel, to transgress and subvert the perceived status quo, is the dominant popular mode of identity. And if being anything other than being white and cis and straight, people are going to figure out how to do it. Because people are hating on cis, straight, white people these days. Now
oh my gosh. She's so oppressed. People are trying to be white because other people say they hate white. Guys, is being white the new counterculture? White straight cis men are the most impressed. That's true. They are very impressed right now with your autocorrect.
We got here. Let me know what you think though. I think it's obvious that we need to learn to separate intellectual conversations and activism, so I will leave you with this. Challenging a narrative is not racist. It is—
Dude, wait, what? What is this? Oh my gosh. Dude, look at this. Why would you put this here? Why would you do this? Oh my gosh. She is trying to be just like Blair White, huh? You're such a bad person. What a clown, dude. God, I hope not white people suck. Yeah. Tell it to the judge, Whitey.